Meeting to order. Can I get a motion on the minutes?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Can we get the financial update, Keith?
All right. Just from some leftover things from before, we had the on the last board meeting, we approved the IRS Form 990 and the Chair 500 for the Charities Bureau. Both of them were filed on 5/11. The Charities Bureau is still under review, so I can't tell you that that's been approved, but the 990 has been filed. For the financials, there's not much has changed. We still have 15,750,000 in total cash and investments, of which 10 million, a little over 10 million, 10,051,000 is VAD related. And that's pretty much it.
Any questions? Okay, Linda, you want to do the reporting and filing dates?
Sure. Just want to admit Vinny. All right. Okay.
Yeah, this is Warren. I'm having problems with my video, so
Okay.
I'm also on the phone.
All right. So the 2021 O&M payments, we're just waiting for one more from Yorktown. And so that will take care of all of the two last highlighted spots on here.
What's that again? I'm sorry.
We're waiting for the check for O&M, the 2021 O&M.
Okay.
Once we receive that, we can send payments to all of the towns that are due to receive a payment. And then likewise, once we have all of those payments, we'll submit the backup and an invoice to Westchester County, and then we'll make the Westchester municipalities whole.
If my comptroller has questions on the O&M charge, Linda, can she contact you, or who should she be contacting?
Kevin. Yep.
Kevin? Okay.
Yep.
Kevin, we'll touch base today then, because I apologize. I was out last week with COVID. So this is my first day back, but I know she raised an issue with me that she wanted to discuss with somebody.
Okay, sounds good.
And then as far as compliance goes on the back, we're still waiting for Richard Becker, Dan Ciarcia, and Robert Scarano to complete the board member training and financial disclosures. I have not received an update since the board meeting. So as far as I know right now, it's still those same three members that we're waiting for. So that would be Michael Schillerow, James Schmidt, and Robert Scarano. And that's it.
All right, thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Let's do project updates real quick, then we'll jump ship a little.
We are at a total of 665 kilograms completed. By the end of June, we'll be submitting for an additional approximately 20 kilograms as the projects in green at the top of the chart begin to close out and get accounted for. Looking to go to construction on group of projects this summer, some channel stabilization, others catch basin inserts that'll amount to a large chunk of kilogram reduction for the calendar year. Those include new CNTR 801, NSMU 601, SAM 1015, and SVF 901. It's a little heavy on non-FAD items, but those projects were all ready to go forward. And with new CNCR 801, we are just waiting for the New York City DEP land use permit to move forward with the construction and schedule everything with the town and in the city to get moving. Those projects are primarily on DEP property. That's it. I guess we can jump ahead and the other things. I know we've got a long meeting unless there's other specific questions on the projects.
Anyone have any questions? All right, hearing none, I'd like to deviate a little bit from the agenda, being as we did notice a public hearing that is supposed to start at 9:45. The public hearing is, well, Chris, do we need to read the whole notice or not? Is Chris there? Chris, you're on mute.
I normally would, just to read it into the record.
You want to read it?
Let's see, where is it? Sure, if I can find
Or
it.
you want me to read it?
Oh, it's all right. Hang on. Let me find the item here. I thought I opened all of them. Change order, change
Up
order,
on screen.
tabulation. Oh, okay. Please take notice that a public hearing will be held by the Executive Committee of the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation on May 26, 2022 at 9:45 a.m. local time to hear all interested persons on a proposal to permit the use of video conferencing for the East of Hudson Watershed Corporation Board and its board committees to the extent permitted by the Open Meetings Law as amended by Chapter 56 of the New York Laws of 2022. The proposed action is best described as a local legislative decision concerning routine administration and management under the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQR. Please take further notice that copies of said proposal are available for review at the offices of East of Hudson Watershed Corporation, 2 Route 164, Suite 2, Patterson, New York, 12563, and on the EOH website at https://www.eohwc.org. Pursuant to New York laws of 2022, Chapter 56, and Executive Order 11 is amended. The hearing will be held via video teleconference or video conference. Please refer to the meeting agenda posted at the EOH website. All interested persons will be given an opportunity to be heard. Interested persons may register in advance to participate remotely via Zoom. To register, please send your email, name, and telephone number to linda@eohwc.org by noon the business day prior to the date of the hearing. All reasonable accommodation will be made for persons with disabilities. In such a case, please notify the contact above in advance or by phone to 845-319-6349 so that arrangements can be made. By order of the Board of Directors of the EOHWC dated May 10th, 2022, Joanne Daly, Secretary, EOHWC.
Thank you, Chris. Public hearing being open, I'll ask if anybody has any comments that you wish to make on the policy at this time. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's jump back up to item number 5, approval of change orders. Kevin, you want to give us a brief rundown?
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, we're getting ready to close out Scalpino Park. The first change order for discussion is deduction and contract adjustments for the construction there. We had multiple pieces that are coming off of the contract. Pulling up myself here, okay. Including electrical work, rock removal, and bog turtle fencing. The additional pieces that were added during construction was manipulation, I guess, of catch basin on site for about $525, which was just the adjustment of frame and grate, and to make sure that the incoming pipe that entered the existing drainage structure was able to stay secure. Once we opened it up, we found that it was in a little bit of rough shape. It just needed a little brickwork and stabilization. We had asphalt curbing, which was installed along the edge of the pervious pavement that was put in because during construction we found the existing curb line was compromised entirely and would have created a situation where the water would have seeped through and underneath, created potholes most likely under the existing sidewalk on site. And we had a tree replacement add-on that where we had 5 adult crab apple trees were removed in order to install the bioretention area. We replaced that with 2 trees in another location. For total deduction of for the contract is $24,182. Had a positive effect on the efficiency of the project. Overall, we had a great experience working with Yonkers Excavating on this one.
Okay, we do have well, let me ask, is there any questions on the proposed change order? All right, hearing none, we do have a resolution on the change order. Would somebody like to introduce that resolution?
I'll make the resolution as written.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next,
Okay, next is a design change order for Hudson Engineering and Consulting for new CNCR 801 at Court Mill Road. It's for approximately $4,000 to account for a New York City DP requested landscaping plan that got added on to the contract once we began. The original intention was to install the project within the existing right-of-way within DEP property. DEP's engineering and regulatory division elected not to go with that after we had moved forward with design services, and instead requested that we get a land use permit and then expand our design area. So the landscaping plan was not accounted for at the beginning of design services. It was add-on. At this point, we are at the finish line for the landscaping plan, fortunately, and I expect to get the land use permit within the next few weeks.
So I'm a little confused.
Sure.
Exactly why is there an additional cost? We had to do additional landscaping work? Is that what it was?
Our intention with the project was to, we have two municipal outfalls, which originally were discharging into New York City DEP property along an easement that the town of Newcastle has. Now, our original intention, meeting with the DEP, was to continue piping those outfalls down to the Kisco River. Once we got to about 30% engineering, DEP changed their perspective and chose instead to just have us stabilize the channels rather than piping the outfalls all the way down. Had we piped, we would not have had a landscaping plan in place.
Okay. So is there a permit involved in this, or is there already a permit?
Originally, there was not a land use permit. That was at 30% design. The DEP required us to get the land use permit.
Who's paying for the permit on a yearly basis?
In this case, no one. I know what you're referring to, but this falls under the circumstance where channel stabilization does not carry I think it was a $2,500 charge annually for the
They
land use
figure out how
permits.
much pipe and stuff you have running, yeah. So I don't know exactly how much it's going to be, but okay.
In this case,
don't have to pay.
we won't have one. We'll have an agreement in place to make sure that maintenance is taking place, but we won't have the recurring permit charge.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
You have no objection from me.
By the
oh,
way,
well, you're only on the technical committee, so.
Yeah, but I thought I would just voice my support for this, okay? This is like history in the making.
All right, we do have a resolution on the change order. Somebody like to introduce the resolution?
Motion, as resolution as written.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to number 6, at this point, I am going to recuse myself from consideration and turn the meeting over to Matt.
Oh boy, no pressure. Number 6 on the agenda is awarding solicitation for 2022 for 2022-01. So Kevin, do you want to just update us on that? Remind us what this is?
Yep. So the solicitation calls for 3 projects, all of which are involving bioinfiltration, which essentially is just bioretention, but we get additional credit using green infrastructure where the water can seep into the ground and infiltrate. So these projects are all, as proposed, should receive 100% reduction and provide some great value in each location. Insight Engineering came in as the low bidder on all 3 projects within the solicitation. The review committee has looked at all available proposals for all criteria as dictated in the project selection policy and procurement policy, and have elected to move forward with Insight Engineering and award them all 3 projects moving forward. I think that hits on everything.
Any discussion from the members?
Nope.
We need a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion as written.
You have a second?
Aye, second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Great
Rich,
job.
how we do?
Oh, man. I think we should vote for you for the assembly or something.
That was an efficient one. If it wasn't efficient, we probably would have.
We would have digged you.
All right, Rich, you're back in charge.
Okay.
I have a
moving on.
stupid question.
Be careful, we're getting on to Keeler Lane.
No stupid questions,
Yeah.
Warren.
Okay, maybe. What was the project number on that? The one we just voted.
There were 3 different project numbers, PCMB 1000, LMU 1015.
So can I ask why it was L? I don't understand. I thought they were like named after the towns and stuff. Was that, I just saw one come up. Was that the Patterson one? That wasn't the Patterson one that came up with LMU on it.
No, LMU would be Lewisboro.
Okay, I was mistaken. I saw that flash up there at the end. I withdraw my stupid question.
Okay, Kevin, number 7.
All right. This agenda item is to authorize the president to enter into an installation agreement with the 2 private property owners for NSMU 601. This project is long-running channel stabilization through 2 separate lots. The council has asked that we bring up a few of the items, and in discussion with her, I agree that we should address 2 items which had been added to our installation agreements after we began consideration of this project, one of which was the hazardous material addition, which has come up in recent months for discussion. And second was language regarding mortgage subordination, which had been excluded from the agreement. This installation agreement has gone through legal review on their end. And as I said, it's been long running over multiple years of review. And we're finally to the conclusion of everything. My recommendation at this time, given the requirements of this project, is that we move forward, 1, without hazardous material addition, given the nature of state channel stabilization, and 2, without the mortgage subordination, which had been added in recent years.
If I could just make a comment about the property. When I was a kid, probably in the 60s, I worked on this farm baling hay and stuff. There is nothing buried any place, where this channel is. So I don't think that's the issue. What's the issue that they have with the mortgage?
We're trying to remember back. I don't know that Snow Hill Farm had any specific mortgages in place. However, the additional property at the top of the hill, which was formerly known as the Morris property, I believe, did carry a few.
Well, it's still the same property, but Jeff died. Yeah, his wife owns it.
Right.
This is one of the reasons this thing got off track, and I have to thank Kevin for working on this for as long as he did and spending the time in meetings. The person that was kind of made all the decisions died of a stroke, and his wife was a little. She was questioning, so she handed it over to their attorney, and that's why some of this stuff has probably popped up.
Yeah. So in both cases, these are existing municipal discharge channels that are in place. The one at Snow Hill Farm is right along the property. Again, there's before it was a channel, it was a pond. So we know that there's nothing in there just from there's no reason for concern of material within there. It's just sediment that's been deposited from uphill on the slope. The project at the top, which was the Morris property, formerly the Morris property, is an existing channel along the property line. I believe at the time we had this discussion, which at this point was a few years ago, an executive committee meeting, we had decided not to move forward with the subordination for the mortgage on there because it is a drainage channel. This isn't a situation that the easement is going to be able to leave. The town has certain rights to be able to access this drainage channel. And this isn't a situation where somebody could come in and try to get rid of our retrofit. It's going to have to stay on site in perpetuity in order to make sure that the water passes through the project site. So I believe that was our reasoning originally for the mortgage issue at the top of the hill. And in addition to what Warren was touching on, where we didn't want to go back to all the individual mortgage holders or individual banks to renegotiate and provide necessary documentation at that time. So these agreements are as written, are in good shape. I feel move forward with, and I'm confident that we can be comfortable moving forward with them.
So these agreements are actually easements on the property.
Yeah,
Okay.
it gives us the right to access. Yeah,
All right. And going forward, who's going to be responsible for the maintenance?
the town of North Salem.
All right. Because I did ask you for the plans. I did take a look at them, and I wasn't sure exactly why they were municipal drainage channels, especially the one that's out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, the reason it's out in the middle of nowhere is if you go all the way up to the top of the hill and there's a road called Hilltop, very properly named. And I think our drainage kind of came over to this area of the hill and just ended. And it's maybe about 100, 200 feet away, but I think we probably at some point in time caused a lot of this, and our water, just ran down the hill. It's been doing this fight for 40 years, and finally it dug into the side of the hill, and it's moved, I don't know, thousands and thousands of cubic yards, many thousands of cubic yards of stuff down the hill. It's destroyed 2 ponds, and it's a pretty efficient. There's a lot of phosphorus mitigation on this, and as I said, Kevin's done a phenomenal job at working through this. So,
Chris, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think Kevin's addressed the issues that I asked him to address, and you'll see that the resolution makes those findings.
All right, unless there's any other comments, we do have a resolution. Somebody like to move it?
well, I'll move it if you don't mind, but you didn't move the Patterson one, so I'm a little concerned about moving it here.
I didn't have a Patterson one.
I offer the motion as written, but I want Warren to go back and work on the farm when this is being done.
Yeah. That was when I was 13 and 14 years old. I'd die now if I had to do it now.
So then I offer it as written, but not without the extra information.
All right, do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
motion carries. All right, open meetings, the video conferencing. Chris, do you want to talk on that at all, or do we just go to work?
Yeah, I think we can just go to work. We talked about it quite a bit at the board meeting, I think. And if there was anybody who wasn't there, this is being adopted pursuant to a special law that allows, when the COVID period of executive orders ends, which at this point now ends June 14th, it may be extended, but if it's not extended, the only continuing ability to join a meeting where you do not have the right of the public to be at the locations where you're at is pursuant to this new authorization. And so you had to hold a public hearing and adopt a procedure to authorize the use of this video conferencing with what's called quote unquote extraordinary circumstances, where the public is not allowed to be with someone at a location where they're at under these circumstances. And then we've proposed specific procedures to be adopted by the executive committee pursuant to the authorization of the board to carry out those meetings. And I can take any questions.
All right, so to be clear, even if we do adopt this, I'm presuming that the next meeting will have to be held at the Route 164 site.
I think that, so the language that, I believe that I gave Linda a revised version, which I don't see up here. And I'm gonna have you, when you consider adoption of the policy, I'm gonna have you edit the last line regarding continuation of COVID emergency, because after some further conversations with Coog, we would have that line say, public bodies may continue to conduct meetings following the remote meeting procedure that was authorized pursuant to Executive Order 11 and Chapter 1 of the laws of 2022 during the COVID pandemic. So to the extent that the governor continues to authorize any extensions past June 14th, you could continue to hold a meeting under those old rules. And again, one of the differences in those old rules is that from those old rules to the new rules is that under the new rules, you are all on video so that you can see one another as well as hear one another. And so you can't use telephone to get on a Zoom. You'd have to be on a video, or you can notice multiple locations. So I think we'll want to talk about how you want to notice the next meeting if we're not sure whether or not we're going to be able to hold it, remotely in the way that you have been, right? Let's call it COVID procedures.
Okay. All right, we do have a resolution. I'll entertain a motion on the resolution as amended by Chris Shaw.
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, other business, any other business? All right, I have one question. Kevin, the RFP for the sewer study, where are we? Mute. There you go.
Taking off my East of Hudson hat real quick, and now I'm a concerned citizen of the watershed as I answer this question. However, we are waiting for a response from the state for the MWBE requirements to make sure that we've met everything that's necessary, and then we'll be ready to post it and get it out for bid.
All right, who are you waiting on?
I got to go back and look at his name. I always forget it, and it's
In the DEC?
it's the at the DEC. Tom Snow gave me a connection there. I believe his name is Will, but his last name is escaping me right now. But he's been managing our contract as it's moved forward.
All right. Anyone else?
No, I think, I'm sorry. Are you still on that subject?
Can be. Go ahead.
Yeah, we did go back and forth with the issue of the MWBE and the percentage. And I think, I don't know where we are right now. You had 30, we were talking 20%. I'm not sure if the state of New York set it at 30% for new projects. I believe they had when I went back and looked, so.
Yeah, per the contract that was given to us from the state, it called for 30%.
It did, okay.
Yep.
So I know that was a question that came up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Rich,
Anyone else?
yeah.
Anyone else have any other business they wanted to bring up at this time?
So Rich, before you adjourn, just in terms of the next meeting, so either you will hold the next meeting in accordance with the same COVID rules that you have been, if the governor has extended the executive order by the time you issue the notice of meeting, or if that's not the case, then you will issue a notice of meeting that complies with the new video rules, or have a meeting in person as you decide. Is that what we're doing?
Yes.
Just want to be clear. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Motion.
All in favor?
Second.
Everybody
Aye.
have a wonderful day. Hope you get outside a little bit.
Enjoy your
Awesome
weekend.
Enjoy,
job.
everyone.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks so
Bye.
much,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.